Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, we have a very, very interesting personality. We have CA Arun Pasricha with us. He is a partner with DPNC Global, which is based in Delhi. So, as the format of our show goes, I won't be saying much about Arun sir. Let him take it forward. So, first of all, thank you so much, Arun, for being here and sparing that time to share about your rich experience with all of us.
No, thank you so much, Parinita. In fact, it's the other way around, I feel. I think because as a chartered accountant, there is so much that we've gone through and very less platform that we get to talk about. So thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. Looking forward to you, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure. So Arun, if we could, know from your own your journey as a CA.
Journey as a CA. Well, very interesting. So, the surprising fact is that I landed up as a CA as an accident. So, I come from a business family, and when I joined commerce, I had no clue or even a long-term plan that I want to go and become a CA. Unlike, I think, many of the kids today who are very clear right from the very early age that, yes, they want to do CA and they have a very clear 5 years, 10 years plan down the line. So for me, in way, I just I was doing BCom honors from SRCC, and I was in second year of my college. And, there was one session which was conducted by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICI, in our college. And I happened to attend that along with my friends. And, something really touched me very deeply during that session. I got to know a lot that how chartered accountants at various positions are contributing to the country, to different companies. And somewhere I think that expanded my own vision about what I can do if I become a chartered accountant.
Wow.
I think my journey as a chartered accountant, if I have to say, started from there. And then I went to PE2, and you yourself are a chartered accountant, so the journey is not easy once you start that. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the sleepless nights, 14 to 16 hours of study, you close yourself in a room, saying no to all the family functions, friends party, and I mean, subjects may seem like a mountain. So I think that's something which is, I'm sure every chartered accountant can relate. And in fact, recently I watched this series on Prime Video, which is about Half CA.
Yes, Half CA.
I'm sure you have also seen that.
Yes, I think definitely each CA must have watched that. It's so heartwarming.
Yeah, so I think I felt so nostalgic watching that, because I could really feel that, yes, as those characters were going through that journey, somewhere we all have gone through that stressful time where sometimes taking a confirmation from our parents, sometimes really doubting our own self whether I can do it or not. So I think it was a very interesting journey as it started. Even when I got into articleship in SMB, then that time, I remember it was very difficult to manage your own work schedule with the timing, because you were working for the first time in the life. And so articleship, I mean, it was really crazy working hours, and then how you're struggling still to create time. Maybe coming back, you are lost on energy, you are lost on time, but still trying to open a book, still to study something, at least one question every day, and keep up with the pace along with the work. So
right.
I think the journey, of course, started from there. And once I become a CA, then I joined PwC, later on BMR, KPMG, and now as a partner at DPNC Global. So the journey is still on, and it's still going on. And I think I'm really enjoying this journey. So really wish all the best to every chartered accountant. And this is a part of the journey. This grilling that we all go through, I think, makes us who we are. So let's enjoy that.
True. First of all, such a rich experience that you're carrying with yourself. So, when you're talking about grinding and, like we CAs know this for a fact. and people from outside CA who don't exactly know the grinding that we go through. So, like recently we had this return filing, the due date, and one is coming up. The 3-4 months of the period is really, really very stressful for all the CAs, be it at any level. Even a partner goes through that stress, and even an article goes through that stress. The workload is immense. The pressure of getting everything done before the due date is very, intense. So, what do you have to say about that grind, about that workload? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I know every CA can again relate to this. And but somewhere I think it's a very integral part of our training itself. Like even when we were preparing for CA, somewhere there was a lot of stressful time. There were deadlines, there were back-to-back exams, and we had to stretch ourselves. We had to come out of our comfort zone. But somewhere, if you think, I think all that intense training has built a very strong capacity in each one of us to be able to handle more.
Right.
Yeah, so today when the deadlines are there and we all are working round the clock, so somewhere the training was not just a theoretical training. I think it integrated these very important attributes in our life, which is helping us now to be able to cope well with those timelines, not managing the stress well, and somewhere it has really expanded our capacity. So like if you look at a spoon has a limited capacity of taking a water. Right. Similarly, if you look at a tumbler of glass, like it may take another quantity of water. Maybe a swimming pool a little more, lake, ocean, and we can keep going on.
Right.
So somewhere it is only that we have stretched ourselves at that time. We have expanded our limits to be able to absorb more, do more.
Right.
So I really give this credit to the training that we had as a chartered accountant, that today we are able to manage it so well. Of course, I won't deny that it cannot be challenging. But, I remember about that Spider-Man line, which says that with great power comes great responsibility. So, as a chartered accountant, we have this power that our signature carries, as Prime Minister Mr. Modi also mentioned, that our signatures are more important than even his signatures. So, the responsibility that we carry, if we really understand that, I'm sure that we are able to stretch ourselves very joyfully. We enjoy that also. It's not like a burden on us. So I think when we really think not about ourselves, but how by us stretching a little bit can add value to our clients, which they really need, how this is contributing to the timelines to be met by the country itself. So somewhere I think when we go beyond our limited self, we are able to bring forth that energy and strength to be able to meet those deadlines, and not just feeling sad or drained about it, but it actually becomes a great thrill, I'll say. Yeah, you take great pride in able to contribute and do more. And in fact, we always cherish those memories of working so hard. So whenever I sit with my team or anyone who's a CA, they enjoy talking about those days when they were stretching and it was becoming difficult. They still decided, no, let me take 5 minutes break, come back and sit again and continue the work. So I think this just adds to the memories that we may carry and talk about, and it's great fun. So let's enjoy it.
Wow, that's such an amazing perspective, because this pressure and this intense workload is so talked about in the CA fraternity, and not all of them are so positive. And for a fun fact, so I teach a lot of college students, not CA students, normal college students, and they talk, bam, we're so tired, we work so hard. Mila, ek bar, you should do then CA. You should actually attempt CA. You'll know what grinding actually means. True. And like truly said, the whole training of 3 years has molded us in such a way that you have to balance things out. You still have to find your way. True. But we always have these kind of people in our team who might not be that aggressive or that competent to go through this, tough phase, or, the 2 months of grinding. So as a leader, as a partner, what kind of support can we lend to our team members when we see they are not able to manage or handle that kind of pressure? So what can we do as a leader? Because a lot of listeners will have a team with them, and this is not only for CAs. As a team leader, as a partner, as a entrepreneur, when you have a team, how do you manage that stress?
So I think, like you rightly said, we have to act as a leader by setting our own example. So, we all understand that the leaders are not the one who are just giving orders.
Right.
The one who are helping the team to grow by not only giving them directions, but setting our own examples of fighting alongside them to be able to do that.
True.
So I think one very important thing as a leader, which is required to be done, is to change the mindset of the team. So, many a times a team may give up because they may feel emotionally drained out.
Right.
Sometimes, of course, physically drained out is there. But more importantly, sometimes they give up on themselves in their own minds.
Okay.
So I think as a leader, we not only have to boost the morale of the team, and but at the same time, you also have to understand the strength of each person, and I think give them the nature of work which, as per their strength, can match, and they are able to do better.
Wow.
And another quality, I think, as a leader, many a times we may feel that urge to correct others in a little strict manner at times. So not everyone would take it that seriously, especially the current generation. If I talk about, I think the current Gen Zs, those who are coming, they are very dynamic people. They are very vibrant people, and I think the best way to raise them is by praise. So raise by praise. So I think the more we appreciate what they are doing, and we take up forums where we can acknowledge what they are doing, somewhere that encouragement helps them to do a little bit more.
Wow.
Having said that, at the same time, as a leader, we also have to help the team in terms of delegating them very clearly. I mean, so that when I say delegating clearly, it means that they need to become very clear what is expected from them, how they need to reach there. So, guiding them maybe step by step at an initial stage so that they feel more confident to approach it themselves.
Great.
At the same time, also, I mean, to enable the technology and guiding them proper regular training sessions, both technical as well as the soft skill session, to groom them as a professional holistically. So I think we are actually, in a way, we are building clones, our own clones, because sometimes you may think that the training is taking a lot of time. And it may feel, okay, I can do it myself in 5 minutes. Why I have to spend 15 minutes? But trust me, I think we need to spend that time, because in a long run, that time will pay off. Once those resources are trained, I think they'll be able to help you and support you in a much better way in a long run. So sometimes I think it's better as a leader, we see a long-term vision rather than a short-term period at a moment. Yeah, that's my views.
Right. Take note, people, always as a leader have a long-term vision, especially when it comes to managing your team. Because like you said, and as a leader, even I've gone through, when you feel that we have to keep our patience, that, oh my God, I can literally do this work in 5 minutes, and I'm spending like half an hour to train the person, to get that person understand what I want. But yes, on a longer term, when your team is capable enough to handle things independently, it will be great for you when you can manage other things and the team is competent, that they are managing things on their own. So please have a long-term vision. And great, it's such a pleasure to see CAs like you who are coming up and they're understanding the value of training. Because when we think about the traditional training, the CA practices, even when we did our articleship, training was not that a core part, I'll say. The firms didn't provide training, or they didn't spend so much importance in, training the article, giving that extra hours or extra information, or holding that, the talks or the seminars so that the articles grow. So thank you so much, for giving all these things. And when you talk about, guiding or aiding your team members, I'm sure you must also be using a lot of tools, be it on a personal level or professional level, to enhance your productivity. Because, like you said, we have to uh, merge technical aspects or technology in our life. So, what kind of tools do you use? I'm very, very interested to know that.
Okay. So, in fact, I love technology, and I think that to keep, if we really want to be relevant in times to come as a chartered accountant, we need to adopt technology very quickly.
Yes.
And so if I talk about of course, not only I use technology or the tools for the purpose of work, but even for my own personal life, I think in and day out, I use a lot of technology, which is helping me, I think, in a lot of many things. So to name few, I think I use a lot of apps on my phone. We all have those apps very readily available. I think very important, there's one app that I use by Brian Tracy on goals. So to really create a long-term goals and a short-term goals, and then breaking those goals into various action points. So, every time, every weekend on Sunday, I go back to that app, look at the goals I had. So that at least gives me a direction in my life, and I know where I'm heading towards. That's one. Another, on a daily basis, I use the habit tracker, because there are certain habits. I'm sure we all understand that we are the product of our own habits.
True.
Yeah, so I use this app to track certain habits which I want to build up, be it getting up at what time in the morning, be it reading book, exercise, and all those daily things which are a very important aspect of our life. And I want to ensure that I'm on the track, and that gives me whether I'm doing that or not on a daily basis. And it gives you a thrill when you see you're putting a tick that, yes, I've done it today. So that's another one app which I use. Then I think very important to have a planner. I think I don't like to start my day without a very clear plan.
True.
So I really have my TTD planner ready in place. Somehow I may be an old school that I like to write a bit. So so somewhere as far as TTD is concerned, I have a planner where I like to write down exactly what is that I want to do today at what time, to be able to prioritize that. Because it gives you a sense of direction in a day, and you take a control of your own time in your own hands. And so that's one. Another app I use is a forest app. So
Sorry,
it's a forest app.
Okay, interesting.
So this is basically to use a Pomodoro technique. As a Pomodoro technique for productivity, it is said that you may focus, let's say, for 25 minutes at a stretch, and you give your all in those 25 minutes without any distraction, and then take a 5 minutes break.
Right.
Then again, you start another batch of 25 minutes, and so on. So of course, you can study, we can read a little bit more about that. But this app, in a way, when those 25 minutes, it's like a tree which is growing. And if you take a phone or you get distracted, the tree dies in a way. So somewhere, you are able to relate that that your focus is building that tree. So you tend to focus a little bit more.
Right.
And at the same time, then of course there are other journals that I keep using, but those are all on my personal level. If I talk about professional level, these days, I think, of course, ChatGPT, we all know, is there, but I am extensively using it. Trust me.
Wow.
Be it writing emails, be it correcting your emails, be it even improvising certain observations in the report, certain languages which are there, to get an idea for the presentations, and so on. I mean, there is no end. Of course, as a chartered accountant, Trust me, if you have not explored, it can really be a boon. It is not going to replace us, but it is really going to reduce our time, and we can focus our energies and time on a more relevant things.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, there are other tools like CCH or sampling tools, the clouds, and I mean, the technology goes on that we use at work for the project management, documentation management, and so on.
Right.
So ultimately, the role of this technology is to facilitate us to be more productive and to utilize our time in a more efficient manner on the things which where our focus is really required. So I think let's use that more.
Wow, Arun, this was like an encyclopedia of all the methods that we can actually apply to become productive. And trust me, people, a lot of things that Arun is doing, even I do. So I can personally vouch for these tools. And of course, coming from such a senior professional, you see how these tools or, these apps are actually helpful. Do read about that Pomodoro effect. It's actually very, very useful. I don't use an app. I do set a timer for myself when, yes, jab tak, that alarm is not set off, I will be working with, a full focus. And there is a book, Deep Work, around this concept, not Pomodoro concept, but about focusing your work. When we say, focus and do something, it talks about that. So I'm not sure if you have read this book, Arun, do read this book. It's
I've read this. This is a wonderful book.
Wonderful book.
A lot of practical strategies there.
Yes, wonderful book. Okay. So, when you're talking about balancing things and all, so first of all, congratulations on becoming a father again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And, as a parent, it's very difficult to manage a kid and your work. And especially if it's like a newborn, they require a lot of attention and patience from our side. And we have this perception that it's all the role of mother. The father is not, it's okay, he has to work. But I know for a father, in fact, it becomes all the more important to balance things out, because the responsibilities have increased on both the aspect. Financially also, that they have to, concentrate on their career and work, and at the same time support the wife and the household with the responsibilities of the kid. Jitna bhi bol lo, the father also has to stay awake at the night with the babies crying like through the night. And then next day morning, no excuses, have to go back to work. How do you manage? How do you balance this whole phase?
So I think, like you mentioned, the last word is phase. If you really look at, of course, there are phases in a life where you may have to prioritize certain things at a certain time, and so it's not either and or.
Right.
It is both. I think if we are very clear in our mind that I want to give my 100% in every area of my life, and you are planning it well, the way we discussed earlier, somewhere, if you have created a time, if you give an importance to it, if you give a priority to it, you always create time for something which is important for you. So of course, becoming a father, the second time father, I'll say, is a new experience again, to refresh the old memories, and like you mentioned, sleepless nights and all. But yes, I know at what time to what time I am there with my family. And it's not just in terms of quantity of time, but also the quality of time.
Very
so,
nice.
When you are there with the family, I'm actually present in the present moment with them.
Right.
So be it, I think if you really feel that it's a part of my life, then I think you do everything very joyfully. You do it, I mean, you enjoy that. But one very important aspect I would like to touch here. Many a times all of us get confused about time management. But time management is actually a myth. We cannot manage time. Trust me. I think it's a wrong perception that we think that we can manage time. I think we can manage our lives, and and we can manage our lives around the time and our priorities. But
That's
something which is not in our hands, I think it's very important to understand that it's not about time management. Rather, it is about energy management.
wow.
So, I read this book long back by Tony Schwartz. It's about the way we are working isn't working. It's a very interesting book, and which talks, it's not about how much time you bring to the work defines your productivity. Rather, it is what energies you bring in the time you are bringing to work defines your productivity.
True.
So, it's basically, and very beautifully, in that book, they divided the energy into 4 quadrants.
Uh-huh.
So one, they say physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy.
Interesting.
And basically how you're managing your energy in these 4 quadrants decides how much energy that you will have during the day to perform better at your work, also to take care of your family. So there's no sacrifice that you are doing. You are always in that energy where you can, when you are working so productively. When you are at home, you have that energy to sustain with the family also. So, it's about how you're managing your focus, how you're managing your physical strength, your endurance, your emotions, so that you're able to be more productive while you are working. Because we may be spending 8 hours, but if our energies are low in any of these quadrants, then those 8 hours are not the productive hours. Sometimes we may, because of that, stretch to 13 hours, 14 hours. But if you're really productive, we can complete the work in time and yet have time for our family, your health, and other goals and priorities in the life for which you want to create time. So I think, again, I'll just end with this in this particular question, that it's not time management. It's actually energy management that we need to focus.
This is such a fantastic outlook, Arun. This is, trust me, the first time I'm hearing about this. I take time management more as a priority management. You have to really understand what your priority is during the day or at any given point of time. And then you manage your time, not exactly manage, but of course you prioritize things. But this energy thing, I love the concept. I definitely have to read this book now.
Thanks, lovely, please.
So, with all these aspects, when you're balancing your personal life, your professional life, and I've seen so many CAs, like, they want to grow, but so either they can really grow like aggressively their practice, or they can look at the other aspects of the life. Very few people or very few professionals, not only CAs, but any kind of professional, be it a working professional, an entrepreneur, they're not able to balance their other aspects of life, say their interests, their hobbies, their aspirations, and plus, the career aspect of their life. How do you manage or balance or take time out for your personal, these goals or the hobbies, which are very actually important for anybody? How do you manage that?
So, somewhere it is in a continuation to what we were discussing. Long back, I was reading about this definition of success. And, to us, success means at times being a chartered accountant, that my practice is doing really well, or in my job where I am, I'm excelling. So that achievement seems like is equal to success. So usually as a mathematical formula, you may say success is equal to achievement.
Right.
But one thing which I learned in that definition by one of author, he said that, success is achievement plus fulfillment in all the areas of your life.
Right.
So, you may be excelling, but if you're not fulfilled internally, you may still not feel you're successful. Right. So it's very important. I think that's why that you feel fulfilled and you do those things as well, which really gives meaning to your life and which is important to your life. It could be taking care of your health. Sometimes when you're healthy, you ignore that daily exercise is important. This is just one example. But I think, like you mentioned, that our business or job or our practice is an aspect of a life, but not a life itself. So if I had to give you an example, if you can imagine that there's a circle in front of you, and that circle is a circle of life. Hmm? So business is one pie of that life. Then personal life, your health, your skills development, your personal growth, your family life, your social life, and any other area like NGO or other way you're contributing. So everything is just a pie, a small pie of the entire circle. So if you become successful only in that one area, you may still not be having a full life. Right. So I think that I think when you are planning your day or your life or your month or week, it is important that you plan it in all the areas of your life. I must plan for the time for exercise, the time for family or your own even leisure and entertainment to renew yourself, to go back and work more productively. Even time for social contribution with your friends. And I'm not saying everything can be done on a daily basis, but it could be like on a weekly or a monthly basis. You are scheduling a time, because what gets scheduled gets done.
Correct.
If you have planned a time for something, then you create that time if it is important for you. So I'm sure, I think if we can make a goals in every area of your life, then somewhere you will have that realization to contribute and take action every day on those areas. So it starts with having a clear goals in every area, not just for the business. And I think we all may remember that Steve Jobs example of a ball. The ball example, the glass ball example, which he gave, that your career, job, business is like a glass ball. At times we may think, but that's not a glass ball. It's like a rubber ball. So even if it goes down, rubber ball will bounce back. Exactly. But our family, health, and other things, relationships are like a glass ball. If they are dropped, they will break. Yes. So it's, if your health is really spoiled, it's very difficult to come back to renew it right where you were. Right. So I think that's why equal importance, I won't say more or less, but equal importance have to be given to every area of your life if you want to be really successful, not just in your business, but successful as a person itself.
Wow. Such great thoughts, Arun. And people do take note. Goal setting is not only professional. Goal setting is about all the aspects of your life, your personal, your social, your relationship. All these aspects are covered when you're talking about goal setting. So the idea of goal setting, like even when I talk to my clients, when we do goal setting together, they just do the career and it's done for them. And then we have to go back to the basics and we do this wheel of life thing where we are focusing on all the aspects of life. So it actually is very important because we are a social animal. We cannot just disregard the other aspects of our life. So thank you so much, Arun, for all of that. So you have been in practice or, in this profession for such a long time. If we target this part of the conversation towards, practicing CAs who have newly started, or let's say 4-5 years into the practice, what are the strategies that they can apply to really grow their practice?
So, there's a whole list of strategy that we may keep going on and on and on. But, your practice is what you are. The more you grow as a person, your practice grows. Okay. Because, and even the same applies for the job, if you are as a chartered accountant working as a professional somewhere. Because ultimately, if you are practicing CA, let's say you are taking decisions day in and day out.
Right.
So those decisions are, if you are growing as a person, you are able to take a better decisions for your practice.
Very nice.
So if you are growing as a person, you are able to attract the right set of talent and the potential clients also, because ultimately, clients also don't just, they are investing in you as a chartered accountant. You are a product yourself. It is not that we are building a product we are giving.
Totally.
We ourselves are a product. So it's very important as a chartered accountant, I think, to invest in your own learning. And as a chartered accountant, I mean, for others also, I may say, of course, learning is a lifelong learning. Right? It should never stop.
Should never.
But as a chartered accountant, of course, even more important, because our updation of our current, what's happening in the laws, the knowledge that we need to have, so that we are able to give the right guidance, right advice to our clients. So I think that constant learning, or your professional learning, as well as your own personal skills, life skills that you need to continue to learn, is very important on a daily basis. On a personal level, I'll just say that what really helps me is if you start your day early. Like from last many years, I've been waking up at 4:30 a.m. every single day.
Wow.
I really feel that that's one of the very important habit, that I'm not saying that time, you may decide your own time, but if you can really like get up early, you will always get that extra time for yourself that you want to create. And if you're more sorted physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and you are starting your day, you are more focused and productive during the day also. So of course, we all know that, I mean, of course, Robin Sharma mentioned about 5 a.m. club, and we know Mr. Modi, or I mean, Akshay Kumar, or any like successful people, they all wake up early.
Right.
So I think it's a very important habit if you all can build up, and this pays and helps you in a long way. So I think this may be one of the things that as a habit we can build. But yes, of course, I mean, I can go on and on, but one again habit, that book I'm sure you have also read, of Brian Tracy, which is called Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog, yes.
So like, because we may procrastinate at times, so how I think if we can attack the most difficult thing right in the morning, it gives you the energy and confidence to do other things well during the rest of the day.
True.
So of course, there are many such habits. I think as a practice chartered accountant, or as a employee, as a professional, if we can cultivate in ourselves, it will go a long way.
Wow. Such, again, it's a bank of knowledge. But yes, one thing that I, want to enhance, or, say about, is when you talk about keep learning and keep investing in yourself, because this is something that people really undervalue. Learning and investing, or upskilling yourself, people take that as okay, fine, if I have time, or if I have that amount of money to invest in upskilling yourself or learning something new, people are still very hesitant to upskill themselves like regularly. And this is very, very important. I don't know, I read somewhere, or I'd seen somewhere, I really like that. So one entrepreneur had said that I always keep a certain percentage of my income to my learning. Say 10% of my income will always go towards upskilling myself or learning something new, which will enhance me, at the end. Like you said, people, even if you are an entrepreneur, or in a job, or a professional, people really buy into you. It's you who are selling. It's not your work, of course, comes later, but at the forefront, it's you that people will invest in. So what kind of investment are you doing on yourself? That's very, very important.
Very true.
Thank you so much for those words. If you have to summarize and give me the top 3 skills that are very, very essential for any professional, what will those be?
I think, of course, it will go on and on again, but I may rather categorize them into 3 categories.
Okay, interesting.
Like one is a functional skill.
Okay, right.
Another, I'll say, is a self-management skill.
Interesting.
And third is the special knowledge for a chartered accountant. So when I talk about functional skill, because skills, the requirement of the skill may vary from person to person. But I think we need to focus on investing in all these 3 skills. So when I say functional skills, these are more to the skills, like for example, it's a communication skill, which is a very important skill because we all know that as a chartered accountant, you have to talk to the clients, you should be able to articulate well. Even if you're writing report, not talking directly, still the communication is required.
Right.
And there are other skills like, of course, the leadership skills, the teamwork skills, because you will always be working with team. So whichever skill you think at your level at which you are operating right now, is the immediate requirement. I think write down those skills in the functional skill category.
Very nice.
Because it's again, as we mentioned, there is a lifelong learning. But what you think is the most critical for your role at this moment?
Okay.
So because someone may be starting with 1 year as a CA, someone is article, some may 10 years, 15 years down the line. So they may need a negotiation skills, they may need a presentation skills and other, so whatever the functional skills required at your level is one category that you need to focus. The second category where I talk about self-management skills, I think we have talked a lot about that during the session today, where the EQ is there, time management skill is there, your problem-solving skill, your decision-making skills. So all those skills, which are the self-management skills, is another area that one needs to invest and focus. The last skill, especially as a chartered accountant, the skill which is required for the special knowledge which is required for your core area.
Okay.
If you are a GST person, maybe the skill to understand the GST law, direct tax laws could be another. Someone like, for me, I'm a risk advisory specialist, so I need to study more about that area. So, because you are considered to be the master of your area. So it's very important to continue to build, because your clients rely on your advice. And as you know, we have studied that we all require at least 10,000 hours of study to master certain skill.
Correct.
So if we can invest the time that on the special knowledge that as a chartered accountant we need to build, because we may get into the rut of day in and day out, that just delivering to our clients. But it's very important to take a step back and reflect and take time to build your own knowledge as well. Very important to read daily, because unless you are updated about what's happening in the market today, your advice will become outdated. And all our decisions and advice have a financial impact directly for a person. So I think that's why it's very important skill to focus and develop. So I think in a summary, I think these are the three categories: functional skills, self-management skill, and a special knowledge, the skills in those special knowledge area. That maybe case-to-case basis you can decide which is relevant for you, and but all three are important. Either and or will not work. So I really wish that each one of us can really become the chartered accountant where we can proudly say, because we are a brand in our own self. Wherever you go, people will see you as a brand along with the firm where you are working. So we continue to invest in these skills and continue to grow, continue to really study deeply. So I think that's it, if I have to summarize in the end.
Wow, this was amazing, Arun. And thank you so much for, especially, talking about the research and the study that we need to do when we are talking as a, when you said the area of practice or the special knowledge that we're talking about, because very less CAs actually understand the value of keep researching. Of course, they are updated. That's not an issue. But only being updated is not should not be the priority. It is about being an expert, and that expertise require a lot of in-depth understanding, in-depth researching and everything to become really an expert in an area. So thank you so much for, reestablishing the fact. And so if you could, tell us on the last segment of this podcast, if you could tell us, how do you see the profession of CA going, say, next 10 years? What is the kind of practice is going to flourish, or, where can the CAs focus What is the, how is it going, or how is it going to be in the next coming 10 years?
Interesting question again, and I'll say a difficult question because it talks about the vision of the future, and the time is very dynamic. But I really feel that the time is changing, and with this changing time, if chartered accountants can adapt themselves um, on the skills they need to master, so those areas will flourish. So to give you an example, we have discussed earlier about technology.
Right.
If I talk about 10 years down the line, like you are saying, we may feel that some of the things which the chartered accountants are doing can be done by technology also. But it's not just that work. The chartered accountants are known for the wisdom that they are giving to the client. There is a lot of knowledge today in the market. There is so much knowledge. If you look at the Google, we may get confused that there is an overload of knowledge. I'll say this is the technology age. This is the information age where there's so much knowledge. Even if somebody is going through a challenge and may in their business may want to just research, they may get so much information.
Right.
But so much information creates a lot of confusion, and they don't understand what to follow, what not to follow.
Correct.
The technology will give you that information. But as a chartered accountant, you need to filter that knowledge, bring your wisdom, basis your experience to give that right recommendation and advice to the client.
Right.
So, so I don't see ever the role of a CA is going to go down. Rather, it is going to become even more important because there is going to be so much overload of knowledge and information that people may want somebody to give them the right advice.
Right.
We can use technology and everything else. I mean, they are not our competitors, but rather as a tool which can help us to deliver faster, more efficiently. But ultimately, it is your own wisdom, that advice you are giving basis your own analysis of their data, analysis of the information, to be able to give that. And that comfort to the client comes when you are talking to them as a person, as a human to human connect. They are able to understand and value and get comfort that they may be feeling so stressed. Oh, I've got a notice from a department what to do. So it's I think that's why our role is very important, because not only as a contributor to the nation and the economy, but at the same time as a person who is giving that confidence to the clients to take the right decisions which will add to the economy, the right financial decisions which will add to the economy. Right. So I think the vision, if I say, is very bright. The future is very bright, and so any of the areas, be it direct tax, indirect tax, regulatory compliances, risk advisory, stat audit, I think more all these areas are going to grow. There is no doubt about it. The important point is what to pick and choose for someone is that basis your own personality and interest. You may pick up the area, no matter what area, but important is to specialize in that area by devoting your next few years in mastering that one area. Wow. Because we don't want to become the jack of all trades. Right. Today, the time is of becoming the master of one skill. Right. So pick up that one area, and if you really devote your knowledge and learning in that one area, because we all understand a generalist is today is not someone who is known or is respected more than someone who's a specialist. Even if I talk about a doctor, you may go to a general doctor, but if you have a heart issue, you will not go to a general doctor. You will like to go to a cardiologist. That's right. In the same way, if you have a tax issue, maybe you want to go to a tax specialist rather than just a CA. So I think this is, if you want to be relevant in our industry, it's very important to specialize in a particular area where you have interest, and because all the areas are actually growing. So I may not say this is more important than this, but you pick and choose what is your interest, your personality match, and just go for it.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, saying everything, especially when we talk about, being a specialist or concentrate on one area of practice. It's really, really, is actually very important. And this is something that even I have been talking about, that, brand yourself in such a way that you're known for something. So thank you so much for everything, Arun, that you've shared today. So much of in-depth knowledge, so much of things are coming out of your experience, which we can actually feel and see. And it gives us that 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 proof that yes, if a person with so much of experience from his own personal journey can talk about all this, which is actually applicable. So uh, again, Arun, oh, very, very big thank you for being with us, for sparing this time with us and sharing so much of details about these tiny aspects which people feel are not that important, but actually molds you into something. Like you've said before that you are very important, and you will define what you will become. So these aspects really mold you into something. So again, Arun, a very, very a big thank you.
No, thank you, in fact, so much for giving this opportunity to interact with you. And I really hope that there was some value addition for the listeners, and we'll be looking forward to connect again sometime. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you
Sure.
for this.
Thank you so much again, Arun. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Thank you. Have a good day.